What's up guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Max, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, today we have a very special guest, Fox Mode Gaming, and he will be coming onto the channel to ask me a couple of questions about how to start your new journey in Raid Shadow Legends. How's it going, Fox Mode?
Yeah, I am fine, Trax, and how about you? Thank you for inviting me to your channel for the first time.
Yes, this is
I'm very thrilled and so enthusiastic now.
This is actually our first collaboration, so it's really cool, and yeah, looking forward to it. So we're going to dive into a couple of points that you actually set up for us, which I'm very thankful for because I'm horrible at that kind of stuff myself. Stop right there, click the link in the description right now to get a free legendary Karato and 4 amazing epics as you level up. Here are the exact steps you need to take. Step 1. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. If you've never had Raid installed on your mobile phone before, the link will work there too. Step 2. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Here we go. You'll find Karato here, as well as Uugo, Rector Drath, Tagoar, and Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. This is an amazing account start in Raid, so click on my link right now and follow the steps. Fox Mode has a whole list of questions, and we actually did a first part of this on his channel, so if you want to see the first part, go to his channel and check that out.
Yes, so we are actually doing a guide for new players who want to build their new account efficiently. And my first question should be, how is food farming to build the core team? That is, we have already shown the 6 heroes through the promo code we will get. That is from the Trax promo code.
So if you take a look at the champions here, you start off with a Kale, obviously, right? And you want some support around that. So the Tagoar to pick everyone up is very important, and also the speed up. And the defense down on the Uugo is something that is very important. But you can also pick this up from the War Maiden or something similar like that.
Yeah.
And I think that by itself is like the first step, the first core, and then the other champions around that just kind of fall into place. Whatever you tend to pick up or whatever the dungeon is, really. But those 3 can mostly be used pretty much anywhere.
So what you recommend if you want to get into 3-star and 4-star, should I use food, farmable champs as a food, or should I maintain a copy and then go for food?
It kind of depends on what the champion is bringing to you to the table, right? If it's a champion that has a lot of things that you need in several parts of the game, if you took the Wukong code instead, like I did right here, instead of the Sigmund, you don't have an attack down. So let's say Giscard here, for me, he has the attack down on the A1. This is very important. This is very good for all the bosses in the dungeons, all the bosses in the Doom Tower, and even the clown boss, even Hydra. This is very, very important. So getting a champion with either a attack down on the A1 or an attack down AoE is just really, really good, and you don't want to throw those away if you can avoid that. Other than that, I would say look for specific things in champions. Like, of course, an obvious one is this, an AoE burn. You want this for Spider specifically because it's very hard to do without that. And then any champions that have a significant crowd control. So this guy, again, also brings that crowd control, but it's only 75% chance. But you also have like the Creodon, for instance, who has the AoE freezes. These are champions you definitely don't want to get rid of early on. Now, a champion I got rid of, for instance, early on was my first epic. I'll show you. This guy right here. Now, this guy doesn't really bring that much to the table. He has the heal reduction, which could be handy for the Spirit Keep, for instance. But eventually, you'll probably not going to use this guy very much, right? You're not going to 6-star this guy, especially when you have a Karato and you have a Wukong going for you. This guy is normally a nuker, but since you already have the Spirit nukers already, he kind of falls off. This heal reduction would be the one thing, the one reason you might want to hold on to him, but I chose not to, just to go faster.
You should be using some of your non-usable rares or whoever the heroes that are not so good. Maybe they will be going into the food section, right?
Yeah, yes, correct. And if you're not certain about who these champions are or which ones you think you should keep or not keep. I highly suggest you check out some Discords. Like I have a Discord myself where you can actually come and ask these questions, but there's a lot of other content creators out there. There's even the Raid Shadow Legends Discord, which you can also just go and ask these questions. Thousands of people will help you decide what is the best choice for your champions. Definitely don't just start feeding all your champions, because there might be some gems in there that you're never going to pull afterwards and you're going to regret that. So
you have completed your brutal 12-7 within 24 hours. And what is the good stage to form for the new player? Because with the new promo codes, we have got very good choices in the form of Karato, Kale is there, Sun Wukong is there. So pretty much we have got 4 top heroes to go into, either into hard or brutal. So what is the stage for good XP farming?
If you want a lot of XP early on, I would suggest you go here to 12-6 hard. This is more or less better than anything you can do early on in brutal. But if you want similar XP and more silver, I usually go here to stage 3 in the Deadlands, because this is actually farmable with a level 50 Kale. So when this guy was 50, no masteries, none of that yet, he can actually farm this stage and get food along here. You also can pick up the War Maiden here. You can also pick up, actually, this is a pretty hard-hitting uncommon, I'm sorry. This is a pretty good uncommon as well. Yeah, in terms of if you want a balance between silver and XP, I suggest 9-3 on brutal if you're level 50, right? Once you hit level 60 though with your Kale and it has its masteries, he has his gear, then you definitely just want to be here in 12-3 or 12-6 for a little bit more of XP. Personally, I just do 12-3 though. I like the silver a little better than the tad more XP that you get here.
Yes. Coming to silver and I think after gems, silver is very precious, so as the energy. So how do you manage energy and silver, and what type of things you use your silver in the pretty early stage?
So first is your starter champion. You just basically you want to make this one champion as good as you can. And this is going to be the guy. This is going to be the one guy who's going to do most of the things you want to be doing in the game. So your Kale, for instance, you want to get the lifesteal on him. You want to get the accuracy on him. See, my Kale is not even that great. This is still basically the build I had after the first week, I think, or the first 2 weeks or whatever. But I haven't really changed this build.
See, we are getting free lifesteal set right from the bat thanks to Apprentice Pass. But the problem is most of the time those bottom section, that is the chest plate, speed, boots and gloves, will be either flat sets or the stats which we don't quite easily get. That speed boots are really hard to get. So how do you manage that set? You will go all out for the flat, or do you farm for the broken pieces in the respective stages?
You have several options here. You can either go into early dragon, for instance, and try and get these things, but I would not really recommend that. If you pull the short end of the stick, I guess, then what you can do is you can actually just go to this stage in the campaign and get yourself the boot there. So for instance, farming this here is fine. You can have 5-star speed boots or 4-star. Yes, or you can even get it here, although I have to say this stage is a little bit more difficult, usually because there's a lot of force champions in these waves. But it is doable for sure. Same goes for the chest and even the gloves. If you really need like the crit rate or whatever, you can get these items here for sure, and that's a-okay in the beginning. Okay, the main stat is the important thing on the bottom row. The rest is just bonus, and that's how you have to look at it. See, even my Alice here has the common piece, as you can see, but she's reaching decent speed, right? 209.
200 is
and the rest.
Mine is only 177.
the rest of her stats are fine. They're nothing amazing, but they're fine, right? And it just means that at a certain point, when you get maybe a rare or maybe an epic or even a legendary piece, you can replace that But in the meantime, this is more than enough. As you can see, this one has a 6-star.
Yeah.
Let's see here. That's a 4. Okay, here's a rare. So let's take a look at this one real quick. What do we get extra here? We get a little bit more accuracy. This attack doesn't even matter for Giscard. So basically, this isn't even that great on my Giscard, right? It gives some extra accuracy.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's the same boot. And this is a thing that a lot of people will be blinded by, right? They'll see a white border and they'll think, oh no, I can't use that. It's a white piece of gear. But the reality is you just really need this speed stat first, or even like the defense here, for instance. See, look at this piece, for instance, right? It's a defense based, and it gives us crit rate, and it gives us flat defense. If we didn't have those stats, this champion would still be fine, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the crit rate is nice, yes, and the extra bit of defense is nice as well, but is it necessary? No, absolutely not. It's this 50% defense that is carrying the weight of this item, basically. And that's kind of the case on a lot of these things.
So I have a question. There is a lot of confusion that what is the level of artifact we should go, whether it is 8 or 12 or 16. So what is your view on that? What type of artifacts should go above level 12?
If you're using it, I 16 it. So even, I mean, this piece right here, these gauntlets, you could say, well, this is trash. And you're right, it is trash. But currently, it is working for my Giscard. And eventually, it will work for a Faction Wars champion or whatever. It's going to be useful on one of your other champions in the future. I know a lot of people like to wait and look at their silver and be like, I don't really want to waste it on this pretty bad piece. But not progressing is just holding you back. So
do you still recommend to hold back 4-star artifacts? I think 1, 2, 3 stars are not usable at a certain point of time, right?
That's correct. I think I already started selling my 3-star pieces after the second day.
Oh, nice.
So after second day,
I did a mistake that sometimes I will take that 3-star sealed and relentless set we get from the novice tournament and all, or something like that in the campaigns. I will take them to level 12 plus 16 also sometimes. That is the mistake I have done in the previous accounts. Now in the F2P challenge, I think level 12 is what I went. This is one thing we need to know, that we need to form 4-star and above sets as soon as possible, maybe.
Now, Pinpoint is a little different, right? Because it basically gives you 10 speed extra.
Gives you bonus, yeah.
Yeah. So
it all depends on bonus, actually.
Yeah, this is one of the exceptions, I would say. But like the Relentless set, gone. I think I did keep the Shield set maybe for a little while, but also not very long. Pretty much got rid of that as soon as I got 4 and 5-star. I don't know. I tried to get away from the 3-star as soon as possible, really. 4-star and pretty much 5 stars where it's at. You could form a team of 5 champions with all 4-star gear, and they could definitely do Dragon 20. That is definitely something that you can do. But
yes.
If you want to progress into like the higher stages or do decent clan bosses, stuff like that, you're going to have to need some 5-star, 6-star gear. But even if you look at my Tagoar here, there's not even a single legendary piece on him, right? You even have like a green piece here, a white piece here that I farmed from campaign. Both of these are campaign. This is a Spider 10 still from in the early days that I was playing. But this guy is doing Nightmare clan boss. So it's all a bit of a perspective. If you get the right stats, like here's some double speed rolls. This is just a resistance chest. That's the only
anything on speed. Speed is a substat on speed set is always really good, actually.
Yeah.
Lucky to get.
On these pieces, I was lucky.
Yeah, speed. You can see the shield. You got double speed over there. That's a nice piece. The sealed one. Yeah, shield. Yeah. 13 speed is really good, actually. Here you got 15. What about the clan boss? Because when you go into early part of clan boss, we are struggling to get into hard or brutal. How did you manage to get into hard and brutal pretty early inside the game?
So Mainly, I got him into a Uugo into a lifesteal set. Together with War Master, this is a very strong combination to keep people alive without actually having to have the support. Even though Uugo has heal himself, and even though Tagoar has a heal himself, being able to just fully heal yourself once you proc a War Master is just really big for Clan Boss in general. It's just a very, very powerful combination.
You have got a lifesteal set on most of the people like Uugo, Kale, Tagoar, and also Petrifia. So within 2 to 3 days, how did you manage, whether it is from campaign or dungeons? What is your priority for getting lifesteal on the 3 to 4 heroes if possible?
So the early game, try to go into stage 7 since that's, a spirit.
Yes,
so
yes.
Kale can easily do this. I believe Kale can do this, even with with some food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a duo or something, but fairly easily. And 10 is also not too hard if you can get the masteries on your Kale. So you get the War Master proc with the lifesteal, and he can more or less do this himself as well. And then
I think 11 also same energy, right?
it is the same energy. You're correct. Okay, so
yeah, that's why 11 is better, I think.
Yeah.
For affinity purpose.
Yeah, correct. You can definitely just farm here and get some pieces here. Now, I do have to say on this account, I was pretty lucky with the pass. So I think I had like these speed boots, for instance.
You got the speed on it. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's very good. After that, you don't want to worry about other pieces.
No, yeah,
Because
I think
you can put any of other boots. I think the top 3 is okay. So I think most of the time we will get good pieces over there. The bottom 3 are really orange based.
Yeah,
so if
correct.
we get 1 or 2 good pieces in the bottom, then it's very good to have a mixed sets from other pieces.
Yeah, and again, if you don't manage to get them from dungeons or from the passes, then I would suggest just farming them in the campaign. Not Nightmare, of course, but in Brutal. Just get a speed or this, or even I've done Felwin's Gate before just to get that extra accuracy. If that's something you need,
Oh, nice.
it's perfectly fine to get these boots as well, right? It's 40 accuracy.
I'm still using crit rate shoes and also other speed boots on my heroes, because I didn't get any speed boots on particular lifesteal or savage or even other mandatory sets. Yeah, whatever speed boots you get 5-star and above, I am using it on our heroes.
That's the way to go.
So priorities of team, that is the core team we will get from the codes or even from the Karato is there, Kale is there, Wukong or Sigmund is there, whatever the thing you have chosen. So what should be your focus? Because Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare are really tough with Kale, because brutal up to brutal Kale can be pretty much easily doable. Maybe he may fall off in Nightmare and all, if I am not wrong.
Yeah,
You're still doing?
he's still in my team, but I think Ultra Nightmare, he's definitely going to be falling off. But so Hard and Brutal, for instance, you can basically do Brutal if you just make sure you get 5 champions to level 60 and get their War Master, more or less. If you can get them into lifesteal, you have a speed up and you have some ways to actually get defensive stats, like maybe a defense up or maybe a strengthen. Attack down is a big factor, of course, which lets you even go higher into Nightmare. But even without an attack down, I think you should still be able to at least 4-key Brutal pretty easily if you get your champions up to 60. So I guess masteries and level 60 is pretty much the essential in the early stages of the clan boss, I would say. And then of course definitely the combination with the lifesteal and War Master, that is really something that can just carry you through these stages.
So do you recommend any farmable champions to fit into clan boss early? Because we may not be getting Uugo or Tagoar or Rector or even Mausoleum Mage at some point of time. So is War Maiden or Spirit Host or any other heroes in your mind that fits into the core team?
I personally wouldn't farm those specifically for that. I would just focus on the champions that you get and just like throw in the extras here and there. Like, okay, you have a Wukong, just slap some gear on him and throw him in there as well. He's not going to be doing much, but
Yes.
in the early game, you're pretty much focused on this right here. This is your damage right here. These two are just incredible for clan boss specifically. At level 50, a Kale can outdamage early, like an Elhain with masteries at 60 easily, just because of the poisons, and just because of your gear is just not strong enough, right? You don't have the damage yet to do the same kind of damage that poisons will do. And after that, I would try to make sure you can keep Kale alive as long as possible. So how do you do things like this? Well, that's where Tagoar comes in handy, right? He will increase the speed of your team, which means your team will get more turns, which means they will be doing more War Master procs, which will heal them back up. This also gives a huge heal on the A2. I believe it's like 8,000 for each champion when he has only 40,000 HP, which is fairly easily to get in the early game. Right now, I'm at 50k, and these are like 10k heals that he's giving. So that's a lot of healing, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown as well, right? If you get this booked out, it's really, really good.
Nice.
If you can land these without having to do this, you definitely don't put them in here. But I was unfortunate. I had to use all my books to get this done, but it's totally worth it because this is just a crazy skill, actually. But yeah, these two together, they will pretty much be doing the most of your damage in the early game. And Uugo, I know a lot of people went for Uugo to book her out, but personally, I don't think that's correct. I think this is fine at 75% chance and a 4-turn cooldown in the early game. You don't need this to be 100% in the early game. It's fine if 1 or 2 of the waves in dungeons and stuff don't get the defense down. You'll be fine to get through the waves as long as you have a Tagoar who is
speed up is there.
The speed up
And
is
also
there.
he can revive with shield.
Yes, exactly. So as long as this guy stays alive, your team stays alive. And if your team stays alive, you're going to be passing through the dungeon, right? So that's my vision about it, at least. And I know a lot of people who did actually do Uugo first were complaining afterwards or regretting afterwards.
I am one of those guys.
Yeah, okay.
I went to Uugo. Yeah. I put all my books into Uugo first. Then I went for Tagoar after listening to you and other CCs in the chat. Yeah, so then immediately I put my books into Tagoar.
He is definitely worth it. He is very, very
once
good.
Tagoar was fully booked and also fully mastered, and he's taken my account from 0 to hero now.
Yeah, exactly. He is a very hard carry, this guy right here.
Yeah, so a lot of hard dungeons are pretty easily done now.
Yeah, correct.
So what about the dungeons? Previously you told that campaigns are good enough to form lifesteal and speed set. And how about other dungeons apart from Dragon Lair? So which dungeons should be your second priority?
So honestly, I didn't do much other than Dragon and Spider 10 in the early game. So Spider 10 is kind of amazing for an early game account because if you can get a Kale to have a little bit of resistance, or whoever your nuker is basically, right? This is a magic affinity, so I wouldn't take Wukong or the Karato, for instance. But if you manage to pick up a Force champion, or you just use your Kale, is fine as well. He can actually solo this in the early game. And this stage in particular, we don't know if it's a bug, if this is actually the way it's intended to be, but you have a 81% chance of landing a 5-star piece in this dungeon. It's often going to be some ugly pieces like the one we saw here, for instance, right? The amulet, the uncommon amulet. But it is a 5-star piece, and they also sell for a lot of silver, right? See, 43,000 silver, that's a lot of silver in the early game. With the combination of farming food and farming the accessories, you can get a lot of silver that you need to level up the gear for your champions, basically. So either than those two dungeons, I pretty much stay away from the rest.
I think we are getting a free Savage set with allies, so I don't think Fire Knight is not necessary, right?
No, I
think Dragon is the main.
Yeah, Dragon and Spiders, then stage 10 basically. is where it's at, I think, in the early game.
But how to reach stage 10? Because even stage 10 is also little difficult for most players.
Well, maybe I can do a run real quick here, and I can show you. So this is my Kale,
Okay.
and we'll see if he can still do it. But normally he can solo this. So I haven't done this in a while. It's possible that he actually needs his resistance banner for this. We're not going to make it, it looks like. Or maybe. It was close here, though.
Yeah.
But
He's still doing it.
I think I used a 4-star resistance banner on him when I did this.
Before that.
Yeah, and that was enough. So like, I don't know, 60 extra resistance or something, and you're fine, basically.
But still it is fine because we don't require any time here. Even if we can do in 2-3 minutes or 4 minutes also.
Yeah, exactly.
When he is doing solo, that is fine enough for new player.
Yeah, very much so. This is pretty much the...
It is good actually. 2 to 3 minutes is quite good.
It's your...
More
now
than
we,
enough.
now we got a brew, which is unfortunate. But when you get 5-star accessories here, they're amazing.
Yes, thank you so much, Trax. And I think we have covered most of the tips and strategies for the new player.
Yeah, I think so too. And if there's any questions, of course, leave the comments down below.
I
would
think
say.
you have cleared all my doubts because I was stuck in some of the important points, but I think 99% you have covered all these things in 2 episodes possible within 1 hour or so.
Okay.
That's nice. Wishing you all the best for this free-to-play challenge, and
You
also
too, man.
we will be collaborating more and more topics in coming future.
Sounds good.
Hope this went fine for you also.
Sure did.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much for joining me, and catch you guys next time. Peace.